Hey guys, check it out. You're watching Jonathan Clarke on YouTube. Oh no! Let's make a promise between all of us that life is really sweeter when all of us are, and that's the message that I've emphatically tried to relay for every video that I've uploaded on this YouTube channel. Because I take great pride in my discussions about Descendants and Zombies, and I look forward to them every day. You know, every morning I never know what I'm going to say on a show, because I think the best way of doing it and perceiving it is with an open heart and an open mind. That way you never know what's coming next. And I've loved being a fan of Descendants and Zombies. You know, I can offer you 1,000 predictions about what I think is going to happen between Red and Chloe, how their friendship is going to obviously be tested because of all the consequences we are going to see from time travel. But I think the most enjoyable experience I've had from being a fan of Descendants is just by being a fan like each and every one of you who just want to watch the best Descendants and Zombies videos that you can watch on YouTube, which is really difficult and becomes somewhat challenging. I get that. Because nobody uploads videos with Descendants and Zombies quite like this guy. And I want to do you guys justification, and I want to do you the honor of talking about your favorite stars the way they've forever and always been to be discussed. Because I know what it's like to be them. While I may not be a celebrity myself, I know what they go through, and it's a lot of pressure on their shoulders having to perform night in and night out for the Worlds Collide Tour, perform on the set of Descendants and Zombies. It's quite challenging, and there's a lot of pressure that goes, and they're in high demand all the time. I get that. So all I've ever wanted to do is show up and be on point, and present a case and a point as to why I was a fan of Descendants and Zombies, much like all of you. I watched Descendants and Zombies for the first time when I was about 25 years old, around that, and I couldn't make sense of my own life, and one thing Descendants undeniably did for me was allow me to put the broken pieces of my heart back together because I met all of you. And that was the greatest honor of my life because I didn't know what direction my life was headed in at the time. And now I know more than ever that I will go down in history for being one of the greatest YouTubers of all time because of Descendants and Zombies, and more importantly because of each and every one of you. I want you guys to know that no matter what becomes of me, no matter where I go from here on out, no matter what my life has in store, I will never forget any of you, and I just want to take all of you guys with me no matter where I go. So after this YouTube channel achieves monetization and qualifies for the YouTube Partnership Program, you guys are coming with me. Because I'd just be a guy uploading videos on YouTube that probably would make no sense to whatever niche I was providing commentary for, which I feel a lot of people can't do when it comes to Descendants and Zombies. I mean, how oblivious can you be to the concept of vampires and nightwalkers and their story? I mean, the story between vampires and nightwalkers was pretty cool. How they could really bring this story to life. Nightwalkers, daywalkers, it was really... I don't know how people could be so oblivious to what a vampire and a daywalker is. A vampire is basically just a creature that exists in the nighttime. A daywalker is a vampire that can exist in the daytime. Like, remember how the vampires in the Vampire Diaries could go out during the daytime with the asset of a special ring? With the assistance of a special ring. Well, that's pretty much what this concept is, and of course it was derived because of a moonstone showing up in Seabrook. I mean, to me, that's a pretty cool concept. It's pretty oblivious to me how people are just so oblivious to this whole concept. It's obviously almost as if they didn't want to give it a chance, and I've just wanted to give everything and a chance to Descendants and Zombies because each and every one of you deserve far better reviews of Descendants and Zombies than what you've been seeing. I look forward to the futures of Meg Donnelly and Freya Sky, and I'm just really excited to be a part of it. While I may not know what the future has in store for any of us, I'm just excited to be a part of it because Meg Donnelly, of course, is going to be a part of the Macy's Day Parade. She has everything musically going on with her career and happening for her right now. Dying artist seeing so much success. MegDonnelly.com, FreyaSky.com is blowing up with tour dates, and this is exactly what I wanted to see happen for these stars. I know they've seen their fair share of criticism, and my heart goes out to them every single time that I read a review with criticism in them directed towards Freya Sky and Meg Donnelly because they don't deserve it. I think they are so full of passion. They give us life. They give us incentive. And I think that's why we're fans of Descendants and Zombies. Because I'm far from a critic. I'm far from a journalist. While I may have been a journalist for the majority of my lifetime over the last 25 years and have seen the best of them come and go in a very difficult industry to achieve acceptance in, I think that even though it's difficult to achieve acceptance from within this industry, I think that the friendships that we've seen because of Zombies and Descendants that have happened, Sophia Carson, Dove Cameron, Kylie Cantrall, Malia Baker, Kylie Cantrall, Ruby Rose Turner, it's unbelievable to me and truly undeniable. And I just want to be a part of it for the foreseeable future. And having become your voice of Descendants and Zombies, I look at this as an honor. I don't look at it as a chance to criticize something Freya Sky has happening for her or Meg Donnelly or Kylie Cantrall because they've seen their fair share of tears and they've had their opportunities to cry. And I think that because they're missing their friends, that really creates an issue for me because I'm a real sweetheart. And you guys have gotten to know me for being a sweetheart when it comes to doing reviews of Descendants and Zombies. I feel very passionate about your favorite stars. I feel very passionate about the moments that made you a Descendants and Zombies fan. And I think that we're going to talk about the moments that made you a Descendants and Zombies fan, from the first moment that Zed and Addison laid eyes on each other, from the very first moment that Red and Chloe became friends. Dove Cameron met Sophia Carson, and they created these characters, Mal and Evie, and brought this entire concept to life. I think we have to do it with a certain prestige and a pride that goes with forever and always talking about Descendants. My favorite Descendants character undeniably became Bridget because of how kind she was and how she really put forth how much further kindness can go and how much further kindness can really take a person in this lifetime. I really do believe that kindness has a profound impact on a person's heart, and I've just enjoyed being here every single moment that we've shared together being fans of Descendants and Zombies. I really do believe that Bridget inspired me to be a kinder person and to really relay a message of kindness on this YouTube channel, which is forever and always what I've wanted to do every single time I've had the opportunity of talking about Descendants. You know, if you put 5 Descendants characters in front of me and said, which of these 5 are your favorite characters, as long as Ruby Rose Turner's character Bridget was one of them, I'd be cool with that. You know, it's really hard for me to rank my favorite moments from 10 to 1, or rank my favorite songs from 10 to 1, or my favorite characters from 10 to 1, because I just can't do it. Because I think every character has been a favorite of mine for forever. From the very first moment I laid eyes on Dove Cameron, I could see she was very passionate about how she felt about this character and this opportunity, because she was really looking forward for an opportunity to create something special for each and every one of you, to make millions of people feel inspired. And with 45 million followers on Instagram, it really goes to show how much dedication and heart Dove Cameron put behind characters like Mal and Kayla Morgan back as far as Cloud9 days. And that wasn't yesterday. Liv and Maddie, of course, playing the double life, the first to do it since Miley Cyrus on her time spent with Hannah Montana. I think it was a really constructive time with Disney in that era, represented by Hannah Montana, Wizards, and Sweet Life, because you had characters that were inspiring millions of people through the power of music. It wasn't necessarily because of a story. It was because having everything to do with music that really brought a show to life. If you would have taken the music out of Hannah Montana, I don't think Miley Cyrus would have had near as successful of a career or would have become so revered. I think that Dove Cameron did it in a so very unique way, because she not only had to play a double life, she had to play 2 different characters. While Miley Cyrus had to play Hannah Montana and Molly Stewart, she had to play the one character as a whole. But with Dove Cameron, she not only had to play just one character, she had to play 2 very different characters. Of course, Maddie was a very sporty, very athletic kind of girl. Dove Cameron's character, Liv, was very exuberant. That's the best word I can use to describe Liv. And to be honest with each and every one of you, Liv was one of my favorite characters out of that TV series because of just how full of life and how exuberant she was. I really do believe that Liv was just one of these exuberant characters that you never really knew what to expect from one moment to the next, and it really made me feel very appreciative of every moment that Liv presented us with in that script, because Maddie was just kind of this really, sporty kind of athletic girl, and then of course Liv was just a very unpredictable kind of girl, which I really appreciated. But when it came to Miley Cyrus portraying Hannah Montana, I just really couldn't get into it. I think the reason why I fell in love with the Hannah Montana character years ago, because many of you will remember me for having the biggest crush in the world on Miley Cyrus, it was because of the music. Songs like I Got Nerve and Just Like You were songs that really allowed us to put our life into perspective. And by Hannah Montana's series finale in January of 2011, I was so emotionally overcome, because I've always had this thing where I've never wanted to say goodbye to series. And then I think about 2017, and when series like Girl Meets World and Liv and Maddie were saying goodbye, everything just happened all at once for Disney. They were really coming into their own, and it was really more apparent than ever before that Disney was never going to see stars like this ever again. I mean, the niece of Nancy Cartwright, Sabrina Carpenter, was destined for greatness. They knew that. But I think that a show like Girl Meets World and Liv and Maddie with Dove Cameron fame were series that ended long before its time, because Liv and Maddie, Callie style, was the 4th season of Liv and Maddie. It was a unique spin on what the series had meant to each and every one of our lives. The chemistry was undeniable between Ryan McCartan and Dove Cameron, allow me to say that. But I think with everything going on off of the camera and off the set of Liv and Maddie, and of course Descendants, because Ryan McCartan was forever adamant that he was destined to be Harry Hook in that franchise and have more to do with Dove Cameron's role as Mal, I remember years ago when they played the acoustic version of If Only and Ryan McCartney was playing the guitar, it was almost as if he wanted to be a part of it. And he was just really ruining Dove Cameron's moments, I think. I think he was just looking for an opportunity to shine. So I'm really proud that Dove Cameron kind of removed herself from situations with Ryan McCartney and Thomas Doherty, and then getting involved with Damiano David and the announcement of their engagement a couple of days ago. I'm really supportive of Damiano David and Dove Cameron's engagement, by the way, guys, and I will have more on this as more information becomes available. Right now, details are very bleak. So what that means is we can only comment on the engagement of Dove Cameron and Damiano David and wish them our best. As more information becomes available, if a wedding date gets set, you know this YouTube channel is a very reliable source, and what we say on this YouTube channel is pretty much what's happening and what's up. So as soon as I have more information on that, I will pass it along to you. But I'm very supportive of Dove Cameron. I've been forever supportive of Kylie Cantrall. So if you're looking for a guy to give praise to your favorite Descendants stars, then look no further than Jonathan Clarke. Because when I tell you I've watched every episode of Liv and Maddie, I've seen Cloud 9, I watched Descendants from beginning to end. You had better believe that I've watched Descendants from beginning to end. And The Rise of Red, if I haven't watched it 100 times, I've watched it 1,000 times, and I have a greater appreciation for your favorite stars and your favorite characters that have drawn inspiration for these sons and daughters of Disney villains and heroes. I really appreciate the concept of how Disney villains and heroes are clashing in ways than ever before. Of course, we know the relationship between Mal and her dad being Hades, and of course the history with Hercules. That's why I've been forever campaigning for Hercules to see his introduction into the franchise, and if not Hercules himself, Hercules' son or daughter, because he could offer so much, he or she could offer so much to this concept, which is always and forever evolving. And I think evolving is the best word to describe what the Descendants franchise has become, because it's changing. And we're seeing more characters coming into this franchise, seeing their entry and exits from the franchise time and time again. I will never forget that moment that Zed was going to zombie out and all he wanted to do was spend the rest of his life out with Addison. And I really think that we all get to that point where we think about spending the rest of our lives with a special somebody in our life. And I really do believe that it's meant to happen for everybody, and I think that that's how Zombies is able to relate to so many wonderful people from all walks of life, no matter what they may be going through. Zombies undeniably touched our hearts, and I don't think we've ever wanted to say goodbye to Zed and Addison, so to close the book and the door on them ever having to have anything to do with Zombies ever again, and the focus just being primarily on Victor and Nova, Malachi Burton and Freya Sky's characters respectively, I think would just be drawing a formidable conclusion. I mean, there's always room for a cameo. I mean, you take Goosebumps years ago, when Goosebumps was first released in 2015 as a live-action movie. I loved it. I remember seeing the characters come to life from these books, and then from out of nowhere, here comes R.L. Stine, and R.L. Stine is like 70 years old. So you just can't walk away from something and never have anything to do with it ever again. I mean, so many legendary names have walked away from franchises they created, but they always resurface. So when you think about Goosebumps and R.L. Stine making cameos in the movies from 2015 to 2017, which were beautifully collaborated, seeing all these characters come to life, I mean, you can just never walk away from something and never have anything else to do with it. So I think that there's always a chance for Dove Cameron to reprise her role as Mal. There's always a chance for Zed and Addison to resurface and reemerge. They just have to be given a reason, and they have to be written into the script. And I know sometimes for writers and producers that's very challenging, but when you have creative energy and you exemplify so much creative energy, I don't think it ever leaves the room, and it creates such a positive atmosphere when there's always a chance to discuss that Zed and Addison could see the reemergence in the Zombies franchise. I know forever and always people have suggested title changes because Zed and Addison's characters are no longer the leads, calling it Dawn of the Vampires 2 or what have you. But I really do believe they're going to keep going with the Zombies flow and the Zombies vibe, because you think about songs like This Is Going to Be My Year, Legends in the Making, Rewrite the Stars. They were beautifully done. Somewhere I Belong was also a really great song, too, that Zed and Addison did when they first broke up in Zombies 2. That was a moment I will never, ever forget. But even through every breakup and every conflict that was presented in front of them, they outrid it into the sunlight. And I really do believe that there is a certain amount of darkness that we all encounter, but we always ride off into the sunset and live happily ever after, because I really do believe that happily ever after has a chance of existing more than perhaps ever before. And I've just wanted to encourage that more than any other YouTuber has ever done, because I really do believe that a lot of people don't encourage happily ever after, happy endings, and how one can find true love. But I think Disney has forever and always been waiting on these franchises to give us a reason to believe in some of the most inadequate concepts of all time. And even with how stupid it sounds, that a girl can fall in love with a zombie. I think a girl is falling in love with a zombie every day more than they're ever giving credit for or giving the benefit of the doubt to, because we see these guys not really paying attention to what you're texting them or what you're talking about. So everybody is falling in love with a zombie some way or somehow. So I think these movies really relate to us in so many emphatic ways, in ways that Hannah Montana and High School Musical franchises of the past and different generations have never been able to relate to us. Sure, we fell in love with High School Musical and High School Musical the series because of the music, but was it because of the story? Because I remember watching the original High School Musical trilogy and being a fan of Troy Bolton and Vanessa Montez. Of course, we had Vanessa Hudgens and Zac Efron playing these beautiful characters, but was there much of a story for us to fall in love with because of what they were telling us as part of the High School Musical script? I really don't know. It was because of the music. And I remember the music videos for High School Musical being so revered, achieving so much rarity. So I think that this was meant to happen. And I was really hoping that Disney was really going to come into its own to give me something to talk about on YouTube. It was really a hit or miss for me. And it was a lot of persuasion, a lot of convincing for me to come back on YouTube. And I really believe that some way or somehow Descendants and Zombies gave me a second chance. You guys really brought me back, and we've shared in this unbelievable journey. We've shared in this unbelievable experience, and one that I know that I will never ever forget, regardless of what happens to me or what becomes of me. Descendants and Zombies really changed my life, and undeniably has changed my life for the better. Which is why I think that if we're going to talk about Kylie Cantrall and discuss everything that she has happening for her, we have to do it with praise and prestige and a certain dedication. If we say we're going to upload videos about Descendants and Zombies to our YouTube channels, then we've got to upload videos about Descendants and Zombies that actually have true meaning put behind them and dedication put within them. Because I think that if you're going to do a YouTube video, you have to do it with passion. And so many people have not found their passions. That's one thing I notice about people who leave comments in every one of these videos that I upload. But I have this to say to each and every one of you. If you feel as if you have a passion that has yet to be discovered, then spend the rest of your life trying to find that passion, no matter how long it takes you to find it, because everybody has a light, and everybody eventually finds that light, and everybody puts their passions into fruition, and that's what I'm so grateful for having the opportunity to do, is to help you realize your potential, because everybody has one, and everybody has a light that they do eventually find. And I just want to take this time to say thank you so much to everybody for all the undeniable love and support that each and every one of these videos receive. I have so much fun uploading these videos, and it's something I look forward to each and every single day, to relate to so many wonderful people, to share in your stories as to why you became a fan of Descendants, how you discovered the passion you have for Descendants and Zombies, regardless of its founding, collecting the dolls, the 10th anniversary dolls, the Halloween costumes, Descendants and Zombies merch. I think it's really cool, and you do it with such passion and such dedication, and you deserve to be commended for that. I just want to say thank you so much for all the love and support you've shown this YouTube channel, because this YouTube channel was never my YouTube channel. This YouTube channel was our YouTube channel because we created it together for fans of Descendants and Zombies who have yet to discover this YouTube channel, because there are over 600,000 fans of Descendants and Zombies on YouTube. That means I have my work cut out for me. But even though I have my work cut out for me, I have the love and support of each and every one of you. I may have to run for President of the United States because Kylie Cantrall's political point of view of some way or somehow ended up in so many conversations, and I want to give Kylie Cantrall a president that she can finally be proud of. And if there's one guy who can do that, it's yours truly, Jonathan Clarke, because I have the love and support of so many Descendants and Zombies fans. It's time to give these Descendants stars something to be proud of, and in America they can be proud to live within. Because I really do believe that things have ended up in conversations about your favorite Descendants and Zombies stars that have had no business being in conversation. And I really believe that if we're going to talk about your favorite Descendants and Zombie stars, then we should show up and do that. We should really present a case and a point as to why we're fans of Descendants and Zombies. For me, it had everything to do with the powerful story, the powerful script. And I really do believe that if we're going to talk about Descendants and Zombies, at least give somebody a reason to hit your subscribe button without turning away from your video and watching just 2 minutes of your video and Xing it off because the video is not living up to a certain expectation or a certain prestige. I think that the reason why some of these videos about Descendants and Zombies really have never made no sense to anybody is because the videos that you're watching really aren't reaction videos. They're just videos where people are watching Descendants and Zombies for the first time ever. And believe you me, I've watched Descendants and Zombies 100 times over, which is why, without recording a reaction video, I can talk about it in 500 videos and throw them up my archives, because I really do believe that if we're talking about Descendants and Zombies, then that's what we should do, is talk about Descendants and Zombies in a way that I really believe it's forever and always been meant to be talked about. I know sometimes I come on here and I record crazy videos about a zombie apocalypse happening and the chances of it being far greater than we have ever admitted to. Or I talk about how my girlfriend was a vampire, or how I thought my roommate might have been a werewolf, and I contemplated shooting him when I didn't have any silver bullets on hand. But the thing is, I do this because I love it so much, and I love how supportive each and every one of you have continuously been for every video that I've uploaded. So I will return later on tonight with a new video on Descendants of Zombies, which I can only hope that you will join me for. I will archive that video sometime between now and sunset this evening, which I cordially invite you for, as I share my opinion once again and one final time tonight on Descendants of Zombies. It's been so much fun for me uploading videos about Descendants of Zombies for so many wonderful people. If you have not hit my subscribe button, I think you're going to want to think about doing that, because I have a lot to say where Descendants of Zombies goes into the foreseeable future, because this story is far from over, because it really doesn't have to be. We are all living in a world where we're all trying to achieve acceptance. It sometimes takes us longer to find it than others, but we do eventually find our place in the world, and we all do eventually find our light, because we all have one. And I just love helping everybody find their life and put their life into perspective, guys. Thank you so much for all the love and support you've shown every one of my videos from the very first video that was ever uploaded here on this YouTube channel. Thank you so much. I will have one final video between now and sunset this evening, which I hope you will join me for. Until then, I'm your host, Jonathan Clarke. So honored to be in your presence to talk all things Descendants and Zombies. Stay calm and zombie on, everybody, into the foreseeable future, because we still have a long way to go, because this story is far from over.